This week, Tulsi Gabbard had her Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. It's her annual worldwide threats testimony, the one where normally the Director of National Intelligence goes to Congress and tells them what the intelligence community actually knows. You know, the job Tulsi was hired to do. But this was typical Tulsi.
The intelligence community assessed that Iran maintained the intention to rebuild and to continue to grow their nuclear enrichment capability.
Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that there was a, quote, imminent nuclear threat posed by the Iranian regime, yes or no?
Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president.
False. This is the worldwide threats hearing where you present to Congress national intelligence, timely, objective, and independent of political considerations. You've stated today that the intelligence community's assessment is that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated and that, quote, there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability.
And as you saw, Senator Jon Ossoff of Georgia asked Gabbard a very simple question. Was it the assessment of the intelligence community that Iran posed an imminent nuclear threat, yes or no? Tulsi's answer, quote, Senator, the only person who can determine what is and is not an imminent threat is the president. Correctly, Ossoff pushed back, noting that she is literally the Director of National Intelligence and literally at a hearing called the Worldwide Threats Hearing. She is there just to present the intelligence community's assessment. Her job is to determine the threats and then present it to Congress. That's the job. And she said that it's not her call, that it's Trump's call, which presumably means that it's Jared Kushner's call. But all of this gets even better because Gabbard prepared written testimony. And in that written testimony, she was going to say, in her own words, that Iran's nuclear enrichment program was obliterated in last summer's strikes, and that there had been no efforts since then to try to rebuild their enrichment capability. That was the assessment of the intelligence community. Unfortunately for Tulsi, that assessment directly contradicts what Trump has been saying the whole time, that Iran was rebuilding and that they posed an urgent threat. Within weeks, they would have their enrichment program back up and running, and because of that, a new war was necessary. But when Tulsi got to that section of her remarks in the hearing, she skipped it, completely omitted it. Senator Warner noticed and asked her why. She said she was running long and skipped through some portions. Ironically, she skipped the part where the intelligence that she oversees contradicts the president's justification for a war, because she was running long in a 3-hour hearing. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, when asked about possibly the most consequential military decision that this country has made in a decade, Tulsi Gabbard was running long. A year ago, Gabbard testified that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. Trump said publicly at the time, quote, I don't care what she said. So you've seen it. She has been silenced step by step. She didn't endorse this war. But crucially, she hasn't opposed it. She only said that the president determines imminent threats. I mean, hell, Joe Kent, her deputy, quit over it. And she has sat there in front of Congress saying that the intelligence community is not responsible for determining imminent threats, which, to be very clear, is the job. Senator Warner asked her directly if she had briefed Trump on the likelihood that Iran would close the Strait of Hormuz if they were attacked. That's been the long-running assessment from the intelligence community, that Iran would use that strait as leverage because most of the world's oil, or at least 30% of it, goes through there. And we've seen the Strait of Hormuz is now at least partially closed, and oil prices are hammering the global economy. I think the last time I saw it, $110 a barrel. We are all suffering at the pump. Tulsi said, quote, I have not and won't divulge internal conversations. To translate that for you, she told him, or I didn't tell him, and either way, it's a big problem, so I'm going to say nothing. Senator Warner also called out her presence at a FBI raid in Fulton County, Georgia. You know, the one where they seized the ballots? He called it bizarre, and he raised serious concerns about her role in election security heading into November. Scary times we live in. And just to put this all in huge context, Tulsi Gabbard ran for president as the anti-war candidate. She was the person who went on Tucker Carlson and said regime change wars were the greatest threat to America. She worked with Joe Kent because they shared the exact same worldview about our wars. And now she's Trump's director of national intelligence. In a Senate hearing, omitting the part of her written testimony where her own intelligence community says that the war and the rationale for it is not supported by facts. And she's saying that the president, and possibly Jared Kushner, decides what a threat is, not the intelligence community.
They called it closed, filed away, forgotten. But some truths don't stay buried. Time doesn't erase guilt. A reckoning is always just around the corner.
A death in Arcadia. Justice has a long memory.